the little lady. Okay. So it finally ticked, and it kind of clues into how we've been working with our vertical dimension and the use of the different movement patterns, especially the centering dimension. So I want to do the kind of pace warm-up that we did last week, and then we'll relate the meridian flow to that before we go on and learn new meridians, because there's kind of a big picture that I had not seen before. And I actually taught you two of the meridians in the wrong order for the clock, because I just went yin yang, yin yang, yin yang, and it doesn't go that way around the clock. It goes yin yang, and then it connects to the next element with yang yin, and then yin yang, and then yang yin. I know it's crazy, but when we sense it in our bodies, the flow of energy, it will make sense. So, of course. Okay, so it'll make much more sense than the way I tried to teach it the last 2 weeks. The meridians are the same; they're the right pathway, but I think the flow is what makes it embodiable. So, I hope you've had some water. Most of us were drinking while we were chatting. You're going to get some water, and then we're going to stand up and do a pace. And I've got Philip here in case we get onto details about the meridians. And I will also send you new charts that make more sense of this. And I discovered I'm online that I'm not the only one who's not like getting this idea of the flow. They're doing crazy colors in these clocks that don't relate. Okay, enough chat. So let's check in, feel our feet on the floor, feel the surface of our feet contacting the surface of the floor. Notice where that is. Notice our knees, are they pliant? Are our hips pliant? If you go to my Facebook page, you can see the most amazing video of a woman moving her spine. Okay, and onward up, let's just notice we have we did the meridian for the 3 triple heaters. So we have our triple heaters or our triple burners. So the first one is our belly. So notice if we're breathing into that engine heater. And then into our solar plexus. Kind of the space between our navel and our heart, where we get our energy from the air. It's another engine. Come up to our heart. As you breathe now, can you notice this whole heart protector area? Can you just let that relax? Your ribs don't hold you up. Same thing with your shoulders. Remember Philip over there. See, there's nothing, this is just resting. There's nothing holding it up. And then let's go up to our jaw, since we're going up, and give a little bit of massage and do our energy on. I like to come all the way down the jaw here. I find for some reason for me right now, if I come down a bit from the joint along the outer edges, I feel actually some soreness there, and that helps stimulate a yawn. But if you find it up in the joint itself, that's another point of tension. Just wherever you feel some tension or soreness. And on the back side of the ear, you know, we know our balance buttons, but there are a lot of points from the triple warmer in that area relating to those three burners that we were paying attention to. And then let's come up to our eyes. We're sort of doing this in the reverse order. Change is good. Coming around the orbits of our eyes. And then coming around above our eyebrows, down along the cheekbone. And let's give them a tap all the way. And let's come down here to the corners of the nose and dig in there. So this is our large intestine, which is paired with our lung, the meridian. So I think this is really good, even though it's metal, theoretically the fall season, but still we want to make sure that our intestines are helping us to detox and our lungs are bringing in fresh air and not just viruses. And then we'll go up here. This is our bladder. So this is in the water, inside corner, either side of the this is the beginning of the bladder meridian. And this is the point called eyes clarity. And then let's come around to our ears and do our thinking caps. I've been really focused on doing those, 3 times and kind of doing a different depth. First, the outer edge of my ear, then the cartilage to the outer edge, and then pulling actually from the inside. And before we do our brain buttons, let's start with the yang meridian of the gallbladder. So starting from, am I saying the wrong thing? Urinary bladder. Okay, so starting from that point that we were at here, we're going to come up over the top of our heads, sweep down the outsides of our legs to our little toe, and then pick up from kidney 1 under the foot and bring that kidney meridian energy all the way up to our brain button points. So now as we do our brain buttons, we can think of that whole circuit, not just like, okay, so I have to push these little points. So what are we doing? We're connecting all the way to the earth, a full circuit of energy. Opening our eyes to the world. We started with eyes clarity. So seeing our world around us with clarity, without judgment, just clarity, seeing what it is. If we're not into a judging mode, I think it's easier to see what actually is in the world. Switching hands when you're ready. Already waking up our eyes. And then we're going to go through this new kind of ritual that I do, waking up all of our movement patterns that support whatever we're doing in the day. So if you have a goal or an intention for today or for this week or something that you're currently working on, bring that to mind now. And find out as we go through these movements, think of them as ways to support that goal. So the first one is breathing. So still, while we're here, we can feel our breath coming in and out. And we can send the energy from that oxygen that comes into our body. Know that it's being carried to all the parts of our body. And as you exhale, bring your body into the center. Allow yourself to come into your center, sort of folding yourself in, and then reaching way out into space, starting to activate our systems. Exhale and allow the energy come back to the center of your body, to your navel, where we first got all of our energy. And then reaching out into the world. Exhale into the center. Reaching out into the world. Wiggle your fingertips, wiggle your toes, wiggle your tail, wiggle your head. Find all those connections to your whole body as you're energizing your whole body. And then we're going to lick our lips to activate our mouth and our digestive system. Because now that we're born, we have to take in our food and digest it. And just feel that rotation with an active mouth. And reach back with your tail, like you were going to sit down, and reach up and out with your head. Reach out with your tail. Reach out with your head. Now curve your head over and your tail over. And reach up and out. Curve the top of your head over. And reach up and out. And let's just take some little, we call these pliés. Just now focusing on the lower half of our body, elastic legs, pressing into the floor with your feet. And then rising, pressing till you rise up, releasing into the floor, pressing into the balls of the feet as you rise up, floating the top of head tall into the sky. And now we're going to focus on that upper reach with the upper, not losing contact with the earth. And then down to the floor, palms on the floor if you can. And really feel this press in with your palms and your feet and feel the length in your spine as you do that. Inhale up, stretch, up, 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 reaching, reaching, reaching. Relax down and then press, 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 press. And reaching, reaching, reaching up. Relax down to press into the floor and with your feet. And feel a lengthening of the spine. So this, I said we were going to work with the energy of the meridians. So basically they are a response to yin and yang energy, or this is the way I'm thinking of it today. So the yin energy is the earth energy. So it flows up through our body, all the way up to our fingertips. So whenever we're tracing those meridians along the arms, if you think of your arms as reaching up into space, the yin is always the one that goes up and the yang comes down. So we always reach yin up the inside of the arm and yang down. Okay? Same way when we trace the meridians that go down the back, they're the yang meridians, and the yin meridians come up the front of the body. So the basic tracing is out from the torso, along the inside of the arm, back, along the back side of the arm, and then up around the head, down the back, and up the front of the body. So doing the other side now, we go out along the inside of the arm to the fingertips, back from the fingertips to the face, around the head from the face, down the back, to the feet, the outside of the feet. We come from the inside of the feet up the inside and front of the body. Okay, so again, inside of the arm, backside of the arm to the face, from the face around the head, down the back, the outside of the legs to the outer toes. Come from the inner toes up the inside of the legs, up the front of the body, and then we come from basically the chest and the armpit area along the inside of the arm, back along the outside of the arm to the face, then around the head, down the back side of the body, along the outside edges of the feet, come from the inside edges of the feet up the center of the body. And if you were to end here at kidney, we're back to our brain button points. Okay, is that clear? And actually in the beginning of Touch for Health, that's the way they teach meridian tracing, that simple. So all of the meridians fall into one of those patterns. So
I have one question.
yes.
Does it make any difference whether we are going from the outside, like our pinky, and then on the top of our hand, from our tall finger or a ring finger? Does that matter?
Okay, that's a very good question. So there are two answers to it. So on the first, I think of it as two levels. On the first level, the energy meridian, these are meridians of energy. They are not like veins in our body. So the energy, I've heard, extends 2 inches beyond your body. So if you are in the general area, whether you go to there or to there, you're still with the meridian flow of the energy. Now, if you want to get down more, as we become more and more integrated, then those specific points, of course, have more specific effects. So the difference between, here we're with the heart, and here we're with the heart protector, for instance, in terms of the yin meridians. And the same thing with the feet, big toe is liver, actually, trying to think, like the little toe is, what did we just do? Bladder. And the fourth toe, I believe, is gallbladder. So there are specifics, but I realized that trying to teach the specifics before we learn the general was not good teaching practice. So,
Okay.
and this is partly because this work isn't in my brain gym training or my movement exploration training, but it's something that's sort of there underneath. But I'm at a point where I want to really understand it and feel it in my body. And so now we're going to do the homolateral and cross-lateral movements, which end up being the cross crawl that's a part of pace. But I want to do it with the understanding of the energy flow that's part of that and supporting that. So let's stand up again. Any other questions? I suggest we get some water because we're assimilating some new stuff. So first, let's try the homolateral movements in this stretching the vertical dimension. So again, we're getting the idea of the yang coming down and the yin coming up. So here we are. We've got one side of our body reaching up into the yang and the other side reaching down into the yin. And then we switch. So we need the support of the yin to balance, and we need the energy of the yang to reach, right? I think that's what I'm feeling. And I feel so much more length. Okay, so now let's do some positive points. We could do balance buttons. It's your choice if you want to do positive points or balance buttons. I'm finding positive points is really helping me with the balance to find that energy supporting me, my balance. Okay, and when you feel that pulse, gentle pulse, or you feel, you know, a relaxing breath that comes, then do some, whoops, homolateral crawls again. And see if there's any more ease in your movement. Okay, now we're going to move to the cross-lateral pattern. So we're just going to do the same simple movement without actually crossing. And again, now you're feeling the reach and the, so we're actually doing extension and flexion simultaneously. So this isn't a regular cross crawl, Amanda. So,
oh, sorry.
Yeah. So just the idea of feeling that incredible expanse in your body on this time it comes on one side as you feel the yin coming up and the yang coming down on one side, and the other side is just relaxed. So it's kind of it's not really a cross crawl, but Okay, now let's try the regular kind of cross crawl, feeling the flexion on opposite sides. So for simplicity's sake, I think, cross crawl started as a simple ritualized movement. But underlying the brain gym are all those fundamental movement patterns. And we have so many possible ways of doing it. And we're always combining different movement patterns together. So now let's try really slowly some reaches out into the forward. So let's first try it in a homolateral way, reaching out with the same arm and leg. Can you control it back in and put the leg down? And then reach the other leg, stretch both out. Come back to flexion and down. So I'm ritualizing this. So flex one side of your body in, reach forward and back, flex it back in and down, and flex it together, reach it out as far as you can, bring it together and down. Now notice what your body needs to be able to do that with more. Well, first just check in. Were you breathing? Okay. Were you using your tongue or your jaw to do it? Were you using your same arm as this, the other, the other side of your body? Was this arm trying to do something or reach on? Can you just, how simply can you make the movement? So your choice. You could do positive points, hookups, earth buttons, space buttons, balance buttons. Okay, your choice, whatever you think you need. And when you're ready, try it again. Same arm as leg. Fold everything in. Reach it forward and back. Fold it in. And down. And breathe. Okay. Raise your thumbs if it was easier that time. Okay. So it's okay. Wherever you're at. So now let's try the cross lateral pattern. In other words, moving opposite arm from opposite leg. And still you can start with the normal cross crawl thing, however you want to do it. And then reach out. And come back in. and down. Fold in, reach out, fold in and down. Fold in, reach out, fold in and down, fold in, reach out, fold in and down. And let's everybody just finish with some hookups. Okay, so we're going to first review the dance of the meridians that we learned, and we'll clarify it. And we also are going to reverse the order of the gallbladder and the bladder, the bladder and the kidney meridian. So we start with the bladder and then do the kidney. So let's just do that simple trace again once, so we know the basic pattern goes torso, inside of the arm, back of the arm to the face, up around the top of the head, down the back of the legs, along the outside of the legs to the toe, little toes, from the inside of the legs up to the center. And then on the other side, it would be out the inside of the arms, back of the arms to the face, up around the top of the head, down the back, outside of the legs, come up the center. So that would actually be tracing 8 meridians. So now the specifics are for our dance. We start with the heart. So we start with the armpit. We go out to the little finger. So just the most important thing is where it starts and where it ends, right? So from the little finger, it goes back along the shoulder to the cheek and ends at the ear. So let's do the other side. Armpit to little finger, back of the arm to the shoulder, to the cheek, to the front of the ear. Armpit, little finger, back of the arm, shoulder, cheek, ear, armpit, little finger, sorry, back of the arm, across the shoulder blade, cheek to the ear. So from there, we come up from eyes clarity, around the top of the head, down the back, and then the outside of the legs to the little toe, under the feet, that nice soft spot, your fingers just fit in there. Okay, we're going to come around the front of the malleolus, around the back, and then up the inner legs to our brain button points. Let's do that one again. So from the eyes clarity up over the top of the head, down the back, along the side of the legs to the little toe, catch it under the feet, come up the front of the malleolus, around to the back and around to the front again, and then up the inside of the legs. So everybody remember that little thing. I have a little trouble with this one. So, oops. So we're coming from that point under our foot, along the front, around, up the inside of the leg. It actually goes up the inside of the leg, like right inside, and then comes out and comes up to here. Okay. That funny little curlicue. So let's do all of those four together. So we'll do one arm, and then we'll do, sorry. So let's do the heart around to here, catch it, come up around the back, down. We'll come back up to here, and then we'll do the other arm around the back to the ear, come up, around, and back up to the front. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's one way we could do it. So we keep flowing with the meridians. Okay? So here we go. Starting, actually, I like to do this with my legs a little bit wide so I can really move in it. So armpit goes out to the little finger, comes around, reach shoulder to the ear, up, around and down the back, to the side of the legs, from under the feet, around, loop la loop, and then come up to brain buttons. Other side, armpit reaches out, back, along to the ear, come up and down the back, out the little toe, center of the foot, loop the loop, come up to brain buttons. Let's do that again. And let's step out to go from our heart, reach to the cheekbone and the ear. Come up and down, along, out the little toe, in from the bottom of the foot, loop the loop, come up to here, then reach out along the arm, back of the shoulder, cheekbone to ear, eyes, down the back, outside of the legs, under the foot, come up the inside to here. And we're ready to go to a heart protector. So we're going to start this time from the just outside of the navel. So, nipple, the nipple, that's your nipple, okay? So just outside the nipple. So this goes across from the nipple all the way out to the middle finger. It curves back around the back of the arm, it comes up to the back of the ear, around the ear, and out to the corner of the eye. And I'm just checking that corner of the eye. I wrote all these notes for myself, and now I don't know what I wrote. Yes, lateral corner of the eyebrow, it's there. Okay, sorry about that. So from the outside of the nipple to the finger, middle finger, the back of the hand, back of the arm, back of the ear, around the ear, a loop-de-loop, and over to the corner of the eye. Okay, let's do the other side. Outside of the nipple to the middle finger, back along the arm, around the ear, and then up to the corner of the eyebrow. One more time. Out from the nipple to the little finger, along the back of the arm, up to the back of the ear, around the ear, to the corner of the eyebrow. Other side, from the nipple to the middle finger, along the back, back of the ear, around the ear, to the corner of the eye. Now to continue, we're going to do the gallbladder. And this one is a little bit crazy. It's the second longest meridian in the body. And you know how we had the loop-de-loop around the kidney? Okay, so we're going to do lots of zigzags this time. So we're going to go from, and I'm just going to make sure it's that I've got the right one here. Yes, so we were at the out corner of the eyebrow. It starts the outward corner of the eye. We're going to go zig, zag, zig, zag around the ear, back to the forehead, zig, zag down the back, and it's actually going to come around the back to here, and it's going to, now I want to make sure, no, sorry. The zigzag goes the other way. So it comes around here, and it comes out, and it goes okay. So I have two different diagrams, and they show it a little bit differently. So I'm just going to make sure. Gallbladder. Interesting. So I have one that shows it going around the back of the arm and one around the front. Let's come around the front. It's easier because actually there's a point here, and then the next point is here. So I guess some people, I suppose what it does is actually goes inside of the body. And the Chinese manual I have shows it going around here, and Touch for Health manual has it going around there. But I don't think that's important. Let's just do those zigzags again, since I've been talking too much. So zig to the bottom of the ear, zag up, zig to the top of the ear, around the ear, zag, zig to the forehead, down, across the shoulder to here, and come around the rib cage, come around to the sort of the, you know, your dimple, right? And then from there down the side of the leg and out, finishing up in the fourth toe. Okay? So let's do that again on that side. So we have from the corner of the eye, zig, zag, zig, zag, zig, zag, 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 zag. So we've got 3 of those. So from the shoulder, it comes around the shoulder area, the arm. It comes around the rib cage, and then it comes around the pelvis to end in the dimple here. And then it goes down the outside of the leg and finishes at the 4th toe. So I haven't choreographed this one yet. It's just other than the zigzags. But let's try it on the other side. So from the inside corner of our eye, we go zig, zag, zig, zag, zig, zag, around, 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 and down to the 4th toe. Okay, let's try that one again. So from the inside corner of our eye, we have to the bottom of the ear, zag up, zag down to the top of the ear, go around the ear, go around to the forehead, go around down the back, and around the shoulder, around the rib cage, around the hips, and down to the 4th toe. Okay, let's get some water and do a few cross crawls. Okay, so one more meridian, and then we've got our wood element, our transformation. And this is the element that's active in the middle of the night, like from 11 o'clock to 3, I guess. So this is our detoxing and rebuilding time, right? And so it makes sense that the liver, which does all the detoxing in our body and creates all the building block materials for our body to use, is active while we're sleeping. So liver, we're going to start at the inside of the big toe. So that's inside, it would be called properly lateral. So, ooh, that's hard to, okay, that side, the inside of the big toe, because now we're doing yin, so it's inside. So this one is really simple. All we have to do is come up from the inside of the big toe. So we come out the 4th toe, we come back in the inside of the big toe, we come up the insides of our legs, all the way up the insides of our legs. We go out towards the bottom of our rib cage, the point you can feel your floating ribs, or those ribs that don't come all the way around to the front. And then you just come up to about 2 ribs below your navel, nipples. Why can't I say nipples? Okay. So, partway to your sternum here. Okay. So there's one little scallop, and that's all there is to it. So inside the big toe, up the inside of our legs, out a little bit to the bottom point of our rib cage, and then up to just below, well, 2 ribs below our nipples here. Okay, so you get a hard one and then an easy one, a long one and then a short one. Okay, so let's do all this together. Let's do the left side both, and then let's see, how are we going to do that? Yeah. Let's do the left side coming down and coming up to here with one hand, and then we'll do the right side up, or whichever side you're doing. I'm doing this. I don't know why I'm doing it on this side first. Doesn't matter. Okay. So we're going to start at the outside corner of our eye, and we're going to do our zig to the bottom of the ear, up, down to the top of the ear, around the ear, and then zig to the forehead, zag, around the shoulder, around the rib cage, around the pelvis, down the outside of the leg, to the fourth toe. Come in from the big toe, up the inside of the leg, out to the rib cage, and then up to underneath the nipple. Okay, so let's try that with the other side, from the inside corner, the outside corner of the eye, sorry, to the base of the ear, zag up, zig down to the top of the ear, around the ear, zig to the top of the forehead, zag down, around the shoulder, around the rib cage, around the hips to the dimple, down the outside of the leg, out the fourth toe, in the inside of the big toe, up the inside of the legs, and then curve out to the bottom of the rib cage, and then up to here. Other side, here we go. Outside corner of the eye, bottom of the ear, up to the top of the ear, around, 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 down the outside of the legs to the fourth toe, in through the big toe, up the inside of the leg, curve to the base of the ribs, and finish. Other side, outside corner of the eye. Zig down to the bottom of the ear and up to the top of the ear and around, around to the forehead, around down the neck, to around the shoulder, around the rib cage, around the hips, down to the fourth toe, in and up the inside of the leg, to the bottom of the rib cage, and here. Some cross crawls. And maybe some water as well. And let's do pericardium, triple warmer, gallbladder, liver. So the last four. So I'm talking about where we start, the outside of the nipple, we go out to the middle of the finger, we come back to the back of the ear, around the ear, and then up. And then look, we're gonna do more loop. We just done a loop to loop around the ear. Now we're gonna loop again. We're gonna go to the bottom of the ear, loop up, loop down, loop around, loop around, loop around, loop around, loop around, loop around, and down, and come up with the liver to here. So we do all that one side, and then we'll do all on the other side. Okay? So here we go. From the inside, the outside corner of the nipple, along the inside of the arm to the middle finger. Curve along the back of the arm to the back of the ear, loop around the ear, and come up to the outside corner of the eyebrow. Slide just a little bit down and go down to the bottom of the ear and up, down to the top of the ear and around, around to the forehead, around the back, down to the shoulder, around, under the arm, around, around, and down, out the fourth toe, come in, come up the inside of the leg, out to the rib cage, and then find your finishing spot. Question, Patsy.
When you're doing around the sort of loops at your eyebrow, over your ear, behind your ear, all of that, you have to speak just a little louder because we can't remember all of those things. And so we're waiting, or we're getting our cue from your speech.
Okay, thank you for telling me. Okay, I will project let's do it on the other side, then we'll keep going. Okay, so here we go. From the outside corner of the nipple, along the arm, to the middle finger, along the back of the arm, and then up to the back of the ear, loop around the ear, and come up to the corner of the eyebrow. And then reach down to the bottom of the ear, up, down to the top of the ear, around, come around to the forehead, around the head, and around the shoulder to the armpit, around the rib cage, around the hips to the dimple, down the side of the leg, out the fourth toe, come in the big toe, up the inside of the leg, curve slightly out to the bottom of the rib cage, then slide up to under the nipple, about 2 ribs under the nipple. Okay, can you hear? Okay,
Yes.
let's do the other side then. Okay, outside of the nipple, way out to the middle finger, back of the arm, up to the base of the ear, around the ear, to the eyebrow corner. Slide down to the bottom of the ear, zig up, down to the top of the ear, zig around the back to the forehead, around to the back of the head and down, around the shoulder, around the ribs, around the pelvis, down the side of the leg to the fourth toe, come up the inside of the leg, all the way up to the bottom of the rib cage, and then slide up to below the nipple. Okay, on the other side, from the nipple out to the end of the middle finger, along the back of the arm, around to the base of the ear, around the ear, and then come up to the corner of the eyebrow, down to the bottom of the ear, curve up, curve down to the top of the ear, curve around the ear, curve around the head to the forehead, back around the head, come around the shoulder, around the rib cage, around the pelvis, down the outside of the leg to the fourth toe. Come in from the middle of the big toe, up the inside of the leg, then curve slightly out to the bottom of the rib cage, then come up to the base of the nipple. And do some cross crawls. So some of you are freezing to me. Am I freezing to you?
Yes. Yes.
Yes, you are.
Yes.
Okay, I'm just going to quit. I had another browser open, I realized. Okay. I apologize about that. I don't know if that affected it or not. It could be anything in the Ethernet. So, cheers, everybody. So, any comments? How was that?
Good. What I noticed, Dana, because I was, it was like 10.5 months ago, I broke my ankle. And it's taken all this time to continue with all my dance work, to develop strength. So I noticed a massive difference now, balancing on that right leg.
Good.
So that definitely helped me the early part of what we did with that all that work balancing on the right side.
Well, go ahead, Patsy.
Actually, I was just agreeing with her. When you said, do whatever you think you need, I quickly massaged my feet a little bit, like a duck, because the more space we have on our feet, even if it's not true, it still feels like it's wider. So I managed to balance quite a bit better after I did that.
So actually, it is true, Patsy, in a sense, because the more we have, I mean, this is my conception of it neurologically, right? We have a mind map or a brain map of our body. And that we know now scientifically, our brain is very, very malleable, flexible, or what is called neuroplasticity, right? This is in the popular even knowledge now. So it is true, they've determined that people, whatever you use gets the most detailed map, right? And whatever you don't, even to the point of, if people who wear shoes all the time, their mind map of their feet becomes the outline of the shoe, not all the individual toes.
Yeah.
And that, I believe, is at the base of a lot of elderly people's problems with walking. Now, we're a little better in Canada because it is our custom to remove our shoes in the house, for most people, at least for all my friends. But that certainly wasn't true in my grandparents' generation. My grandmother was made fun of by all the relatives because she always took her shoes off.
That's a very Scandinavian thing as well.
And my grandmother had the most beautiful calves until the day she died. They were just shapely and gorgeous. Her legs were, gorgeous, but she walked around barefoot all the, or stocking feet all the time, So, and so I think by your doing that, you were stimulating all that. So as far as your brain was concerned, your feet were bigger, or they had more space in the brain concerned with them. That's my metaphor for that anyway, even if it's not scientific, but I think there's some truth to it. So anything else? So I'm really grateful to you all for being here with me and doing this together, because I'm wanting to, what you were saying, Amanda and Patsy, I started these classes to help people to be able to balance, because friends were falling down and I wanted to do something for that. But also, my other interests and everything coming together, I always want to pull things together. And this is, for me, what I'm experimenting with is another way at balance. I started this class, we worked with, Brain Gym, and we worked with some other stuff that related to it. But this work with the meridians, I really feel is that energy actually also can support our balance. So I'm just kind of playing with how to put them together.
Audrey, I felt that after we had done the meridians, my balance was better. I've been having trouble with my feet, and they're not always stable to sit on, and my balance has been going down. But after we did the meridians and then we did the cross crawls, I found it much easier to balance and do them slower. So I think it really has helped.
Super. So what I think is, you're my advanced class. So what I'm thinking is, we'll end up with a meridian dance that you can do every day. And what I'm interested in doing is taking it to kind of another level. Like I said, I showed you being the simple one, the way it's taught in Touch for Health. And that is certainly useful and helpful. But knowing the actual meridian flow and starting to sense that flow through the body. And as you know, we believe in Brain Gym in embodied learning, that you need to learn it in your body, not just, you know, intellectually. So as you start to feel that in your body, be able to become more and more sensitive to which meridians need support. And then we've learned a lot of different ways to support them. So, you know, we've learned the integrating movements. We've learned some, Dana, where are your words going? The neurolymphatic stimulation that we've done. We've done the neurovascular, points. So you have a lot of ways, and eventually my idea is at the end of this, you know, as we sort of finish this session, you'll have all those organized. We've been doing them all, but you'll have them organized in your toolbox so that they'll be available when you need them. Does that make sense? You know, if all your tools are just sitting in a big box, and it's like my kitchen drawer, you know, every time I want the potato peeler, where did it go? But if we kind of can have all this information and all these techniques organized in a way that we can simply say, oh, you know, bonding needs support today, if you want to use the Brain Gym words, you know, or I need to deal with my sense of worth today. So how can I support that? Or maybe you need to deal with, I really need to detox, or maybe it's, I need to support my muscles and tendons, and I need to heal that, and I need, you know, my liver and gallbladder functioning to help me, you know, whatever. But it's just not trying to get too technical, but I'm just saying it, to me now, I'm sensing it's all so connected. I don't even, you know, I don't bother kind of separating when I feel something needs to support. I don't know if it's because, you know, necessarily, it doesn't make any difference to me whether it's emotional balance or physical balance or anything else. It's also related, that I can go to it from either things. I can work from it from the emotional standpoint of view or from the physical standpoint. Bye, Amanda. You take care. You probably need some food.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot. So I'm jabbering on and on, but anyway.
Thank you so much, Dana.
You're welcome. You're welcome. We'll see you next week.
Yeah. Thanks, Dana.
Take care.
Bye.